Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to our webinar on HDI. I'm Aurélie Doucet from the marketing team at Entrepreneurs, and I will be your host and moderator today. So today, I have the pleasure to be joined by Joslin, Executive Director of Training and Certifications at HDI, and Cay Robertson, Manager Service Desk and Access Administration at TECO. So today we are going to talk about HDI and how we can help expand your training portfolio and answer your customers' problem in terms of help center communication skills. So we are aware that some of you might be new to Entrepreneurs or may have recently joined. So I'm going to give you a quick intro of how you can benefit from becoming a partner. Then I'm going to hand over to Rick, who is going to give you an introduction of what is HDI and what is the portfolio. And then Kay is going to explain how she's adopted the KCS portfolio and how it helps her company. So before we start, I just would like to, we would like to understand who you are today. So are you primarily a training company, consulting company? You're offering a mix of both, or are you an independent instructor? So you can just select who you are, and so I'm going to share the results so Rick and Kay can see who has joined us today. All right, so I'm going to show. So, all right, so the majority of you, 83%, offer a mix of training and consulting offering, and 17% of you offer primarily training to your customers. Perfect. Then I will have another quick question just to understand how much you know of Entrepreneurs. So are you a partner? And if so, how long have you been a partner with us? So more than 5 years, about a year, or you just became a partner through our TTT that we're organizing recently, or you're not a partner yet. All right, so let me just close the poll and share the results. All right, so wow, all of you are an Entrepreneurs partner. Very good. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so just I'm going to introduce you who we are. So I mean, you know already who we are, but maybe you don't know what the entire portfolio is. So what we do is we help you grow your training business. So we act as a one-stop shop where you can license training material from us. Here is an overview of our portfolio represented in our courseware library. So what we do, we also work with content partners or framework owners like HDI, and then that you can offer to your customers. So as you can see, we offer new and emerging frameworks, but also well-established IT best practices. We offer them in many languages and in many delivery formats like virtual classroom, e-learning, classroom, and simulations. Also, you can see that we offer the entire Axelos portfolio with the two new additions, the Resilia and the Prince2 Agile. And soon we will be launching the ITO Practitioner when the new certification is available. Here is a quick infographic that shows what you can offer to your customers in the ITSM domain, and you can see that the HDI and KCS portfolios are also part of it. So it helps you to cross-sell, upsell the different frameworks to your customers. So as our partners, you can utilize our portfolio and expand your training business, and at the same time save costs on development and maintenance. We also have a team of what we call the customers support team that is here to support you 24/7 with your requests. And also what's important to remember is we don't offer training, so we don't compete with our partners. All right. And so before I hand it over to Rick, I would like to understand what's your experience with offering soft skills training. So are you already offering the HDI portfolio, or you have experience with delivering soft skills training, or you have some, or you're totally new to it? All right, I'm going to now close the poll. All right, so you have some experience for 50% of you. You have extensive experience for 33% of you. Some of you are new, and none of you are yet offering HDI training portfolio. All right. And then the last poll is, what's your objective of today? Is it that you want to expand your portfolio with offering HDI? Well, the second one doesn't apply for you, or you're looking for a solution for your customers. And here we go. So 57% of you want to expand your offering with HDI, 14% you are already offering it and you want to hear best practices, and 29% of you are looking for solutions for your customers. And that's why you're here today. All right. So now I would like to start with this HDI webinar. I'm going to hand it over to Rick, but let me first introduce Rick to you for a quick introduction. So Rick Joslin is the Executive Director of Certification and Training at HDI. So he's responsible for the development and delivery of HDI's training and certification offerings and strategic relationships. As an author, speaker, and recognized expert in knowledge management, Rick has served on the Consortium of Service Innovation, the KCS Program Committee, and is also a KCS Certified Instructor. He also serves on the Strategic Board of Advisors at HDI, the HDI International Pennsylvania's Business College. He was the founding chairman of HDI's Member Advisory Board, and he continues to serve as a chairman emeritus. All right, so I'm just going to change the deck here and give the keyboard and mouse to Rick. Rick, do you have access to? Right, perfect. Here we go.
All right, so let's go ahead and get us started this morning and this afternoon. First of all, thank you for having me. So before I get started, I really wanted to go back and say, why should people be getting IT certified? What's the foundation of why HDI got into the certification business and our position in the industry? So to help answer this question, I've actually turned to some industry research. Specifically, I've looked at some published research information from the IT Certification Council. HDI is a member of the IT Certification Council, which is a nonprofit organization of certification providers such as CompTIA, IBM, HP, Microsoft, and Citrix, and HDI, as well as a few other companies, who work together to improve the value of certifications in the industry. Overall, one of the things that really stood out in one of the research reports was that 79% of people, professionals, claim that certifications have sped up their professional growth. Ultimately, certifications are about improving the workforce, which leads to improved performance and better service for the customer and the company. Certifications are a way of demonstrating your skills to the industry. It's about the application of those skills that actually provides value to organizations. And, in addition, certifications provide respect and recognition. It's a way for an individual to promote themselves out to the industry or promote themselves to their employers or to their customers, and letting them know that they're dedicated to providing high-quality customer service. It provides industry credibility. 80% believe that IT certifications demonstrate competency to their clients. It builds the trust with their clients when a client knows that the people who are servicing them and are helping them have committed to their careers and have studied and demonstrated the skills to provide high quality services. So it's very important to people in the industry to demonstrate credibility to their stakeholders. Ultimately, it improves productivity. 81% believe that IT certifications have increased the value and productivity of their staff. So one of the things you'll notice as I'm going through some of this quick research is that the research is coming from a variety of different sources. It's not just HDI. It's coming from Global Knowledge and Prometric and IBM. It's a conglomerate of information related to certification value. In addition to productivity, it's about team performance. 84% of organizations say that IT certifications improve reliability and the efficiency of the IT environment, ultimately improving the quality of service that they're giving out to their clients. So having a certified staff makes a difference. And it provides for career enhancement and career growth. 90% report gaining knowledge that has allowed them to grow in their position, allowing people to grow not only in the position they have today, but creating the opportunities for positions of tomorrow. So when we really talk about all these certification opportunities, it is about how to help the professionals improve their own personal skills, but ultimately the employers that are employing these people improving the quality of services. So who is HDI? First of all, we're an association for people in technical support. That is the people who work on a service desk or people who work in desktop support or other IT-related support roles. We focus on the professional development opportunities for these people, specifically in the areas of soft skills. We're not about the hard skills, that being the technology skills. That we leave to the CompTIAs, to the Microsofts, and the HPs of the world. Okay. We also provide networking and recognition. It's a way for professionals to come together and meet other professionals in order to grow their careers. We are guided by an international standards body, and we are therefore a certification body. All of our certifications are available open to the market. You do not have to take training to get certification, but it's highly encouraged because it's about skills building, ultimately to demonstrate those skills. So we recognize that the people who are on the service desk are really the voice of the support organization, and they've got to interact with clients remotely and build relationships with them. One of the things that we've learned is that 83% of how a customer evaluates the quality of an IT organization is based on their relationship with the support team. And yet only 4% of the expenses for running a type of organization goes to support. People need to continue to invest in the place that has the most impact on their customers, which is the people who are supporting them directly, being the support center and the desktop support teams. As I mentioned, it's guided by an international certification body focusing on technical support professionals. We are not focusing on asset management. We're not focusing on the people who are doing software development. We were really focusing on the people who are helping customers with the technology that they are using. So we focus on those soft skills, the customer service, the problem solving, service management skills, leadership skills, helping them handle stress, handle that difficult customer on the phone or even face-to-face when they're working with them through a desktop environment. Our certifications are heavily focused on role-based certifications, and I'll explain that as we go through the different certifications that are available. Some research was done a few years ago looking at what are the top skills that employers look for in these roles. If you're looking at somebody on a frontline, a help desk or service desk environment, the number one thing they look for when they're hiring someone is customer service skills and problem solving skills, communication skills. You also see listening skills, interpersonal skills, and verbal skills. These are all the type of skills that are covered by the HDI courses. For those in desktop support, it's problem solving, but you still see the customer service, the analytical and the communication skills, the interpersonal skills. Those same types of skills are important in the desktop environment as well. So we focus heavily on augmenting the skill sets of the technical professional, making sure they know how to deal with people and follow and understand the business processes. I mentioned that it's role-based, so let's take a look at the different types of certifications. I'm just going to introduce them to you at the high level right now. All that information on the different courses is available on the ITpreneurs website. The customer service representative, someone who's on the phone, focusing heavily on customer service skills. More importantly, though, is we like to take people into the support center analyst. This is the person who is also on the phone, but not only are they providing customer service skills, they need to understand the business skills and the service management skills for their role. So this is the service desk agent. We call them the support center analyst because it can be not only internal tech support, but can also be external tech support. Desktop support is for the person who's running around the field or running around the office, who's doing face-to-face support or desk-side services. Our technical support professional is for that Tier 2 and Tier 3 professional who is called upon from time to time when incidents are being escalated to people with more skills and more knowledge or more access. Those same people who may be software developers, application developers, operations teams are from time to time called upon to be part of the support supply chain. They also need necessary skills to work directly with clients and understand their role in that support process. Support center team leads focus heavily on the customers, on the coaching and learning of the support center analysts. These are the people who are guiding the day-to-day operations in an environment. Our support center manager is focusing on the operational running of a support center or of a service desk. This is someone who has direct responsibility not only for the processes but also for the people. The desktop support manager would be the peer to the support center manager, the person who actually is providing oversight to the people who are doing desk-side services. And then ultimately at the leadership level, we call it the support center director. The director would have overall responsibility for both strategically and operationally for the organization. So there are different certifications for each role, and one of the things you will find is that the context of the information is applied to that role. In addition to the role-based certifications, HDI does have some certifications focusing on process. HDI's problem management professional focuses on those people who work on that problem management process, understanding how to do root cause analysis, trend analysis, and ultimately eliminate issues from the environment. And then the knowledge-centered support, which is a set of knowledge-centered best practices, is how we do knowledge management inside of service management. And I'm going to speak a little bit more to that one because that's the case study that we've asked Cay to share with you today. But why should you use HDI certifications? Well, first of all, they're complementary. They really combine with and add skills beyond the technical and hard skills. It's about improving the performance of the individual and then also raising the performance expectations of the individuals who are working in these environments. It creates a common language for everyone who works in these environments. It's not unusual for organizations to get everybody in their support team HDI certified. In fact, we have a number of large companies in which they get everyone in their organization HDI certified, just as they would get them CompTIA certified or ITIL Foundation certified. In fact, we are recognizing that the HDI certifications are complementary and work very closely with the CompTIA Roadmap. So complementary certifications as an example, Microsoft about the technical skills, CompTIA hardware skills or hardware knowledge. ITIL, it's all about process and service management. KCS is again process knowledge focusing on best practices with inside of service management related to knowledge management. As you know, ITIL does not have knowledge management details in ITIL version of 2011. It's really complemented by bringing KCS into it as well. So HDI really focuses on those soft skills, the customer service skills and the service management skills. Bringing these bringing an individual to have all the skills necessary to provide high qualities of services. As I mentioned, the CompTIA Roadmap, many of you are probably very familiar with CompTIA. They're well known around the world. They provide a certification roadmap for individuals pursuing different careers in IT. One which is in the area of hardware support or the help desk or service desk area. When you look at that roadmap very closely, you will find that the HDI Support Center Analyst and Desktop Support Technician are right there on the front line, So people who are starting out in these careers need to have a base set of skills, and HDI is recognized as part of that base set of skills. Excuse me, I'm trying to advance the slide. Oh, here we go. So when we look at the context to the role, one of the things I was talking about is if you look at the outline of the courses, you will find that the outline looks very similar. In many cases is actually the same based on the role. So that should not deter you from understanding that you need to put the person in the right course. People who are in desk side support should not be in a support center analyst class, because the context of what they talk about in those terms really needs to relate to their role. So you will find significant overlap and similarity. In fact, the customer service representative class is a subset of the support center analyst class. We've taken just the customer service skills and moved it to a one-day course, because there are organizations that can't afford to have individuals go through full 2 days, or they really just want to focus on that set of skills. Has been a very common issue, so we've developed the customer service representative. But I would always lead with the support center analyst when going into a client because of the higher value that it provides. Okay. When I look closely at the relationship of those frontline courses, that customer service representative, support center analyst, and desktop technician, again, you will see that the outlines are very, very similar. But the content underneath that provides them, that's in the context of that customer. Now, our certifications, we've certified over 65,000 technical support professionals from very large companies around the world. Just as a small sampling here, hopefully companies that you can recognize. Companies are turning to HDI to improve the skills of their team, ultimately to improve the quality of service and the efficiency of the services to their customers. But let's talk a little bit about knowledge management, because as I mentioned, I'm going to ask Cay to share you a little bit about their story of adopting knowledge management in their organization. Some research has shown that, knowledge management really is in high demand. Many organizations have identified knowledge management as the top technology that they need to implement, or is a minimum number 2 technology that they must have in running a support organization. Yet the source of our best practices for knowledge management are minimal out there. So HDI investigated and tried to determine where can we find best practices of knowledge management, because ITIL was very light on those terms. And when we discovered there was an organization called the Consortium for Service Innovation that had a set of best practices known as knowledge-centered support. We worked with them to develop the program, to develop the training, and develop the certification program to teach that methodology to the industry. We are now the #1 providers of such training and certifications. So why KCS? Well, it's best practices. People need to know, how did other people implement knowledge management successfully? If you talk to many organizations years ago who implement knowledge management based on trying to figure it out on their own, on average, they would have failed 2 or 3 times before getting to success. But most organizations can't afford to just try new things. They need to learn from the experiences of others. So by looking at the experiences of others and building those things together is how KCS was created. What are the best practices of adopting knowledge management inside of service management? Now, you can go out, and so can your customers, and download a free white paper on the Axelos website that talks about the synergies between ITIL and KCS, and why every ITIL customer really should be adopting ITIL and KCS together. So let's talk about this KCS. The fact there are 2 courses related to knowledge-centered support. The first is called the KCS Foundation. It is to KCS what ITIL Foundation is to ITIL. It talks about what is the KCS methodology, helps them understand the terminology and the value of why knowledge management needs to be implemented inside their organization. It's really designed to help everyone in the organization have the foundation for the implementation that the organization is about to begin on. The next course is known as the KCS Principles. This is the practitioner level. This is the course that focuses on not only what is KCS and why do you need it, but very importantly on how do you successfully implement. What were the tips and tricks that organizations have learned when adopting knowledge management in their organization to successfully lead to great outcomes. So this is a 3-day course that we focus on that's very much about how to implement, and usually a smaller portion of the organization, the development team, or if you call the program team for the adoption, would go through this course as a means to starting their initiative of adopting KCS. So with that, what I'd really like to do now is turn this over to Cay Robertson from Tampa Electric Company, or TECO, and she's going to share with you her case study and what they've done in adopting KCS and the results that they've had. And Aurelia, if you'd switch the presentation slides, please.
Just, okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. All right, just to kind of give you an overview of who we are, our company. Our parent company is TECO Energy, Inc. It is an energy where we hold electric and gas utilities in both Florida and New Mexico in the U.S. And on the electric side, we serve more than 715,000 customers in the West Central Florida, and our gas company in Florida serves over 360,000, and then our newly acquired company in New Mexico, we serve about 515,000 customers in New Mexico. And from a service desk, we support all of these different companies internally. Next slide. So I'll give you an overview of what we do at the service desk and who we support within those different companies. So within Peoples Gas and New Mexico Gas and Tampa Electric, we support all of those. And it comprises of about 24 analysts, whether it be at the service desk, whether it be the support analysts in the field, or our extended arm of the service desk at third level, and which includes about 4,500 internal team members and over about 250 applications. Next slide. So when we were talking about KCS, or actually talking about what are our challenges that we were having at the service desk, one of our biggest concerns was our first contact resolution. We were staying really at a steady 70% and could not increase that no matter what we did. And part of that is everybody had their information stored in different places, whether it was on their own hard drive, it was in OneNote, or it's in this database, or it's on this sheet of paper, whatever it might be. It was just all in different places. So therefore the calls may take a little longer. Where, you know, if to resolve something, one person it might take 10 minutes, where another person will resolve the same issue, but it could probably take them 20 minutes because of the different solutions, the different types of information we had stored out there. And then the other thing was to bring a new person on board to the service desk, whether it be a contractor, whether it be a new employee, it would take anywhere from 5 to 6 weeks for them to be proficient on taking those phone calls. And then, of course, we have the aging workforce. We do have some employees that are close to retirement, or, you know, they choose to maybe move someplace elsewhere, and they've taken all of that knowledge with them, and it's not documented anywhere. And then that's where it goes into the knowledge transfer, making sure that before they leave, we need that information, that they've been at this desk in their seat for 20 years, and we don't have that information. And then, of course, we had no self-service. So some of the same things, the routine calls that we know that our internal customers could resolve, we had no way of having that documented anywhere where they could work and resolve that on their own. So those were our challenges that after a few of us had taken the KCS class, it was pretty obvious where we needed to go with this and how to resolve these challenges. So next slide. So going back and looking at our challenges that we had, we needed to figure out what did we want to achieve to overcome those. And of course, that was to increase our first contact resolution, reduce our mean time to resolve because of the different ways that we were storing the information, or the different solutions on how to resolve the same issue, we needed to reduce the mean time to resolve. And then, of course, if we can have a shorter call time, it would also increase the first contact resolution. And it should never have to take somebody 5 to 6 weeks to be on the phone full time and be proficient. So that was another one of our challenges. And then to share that knowledge, we needed to share the knowledge from the field, from our third level support, from the service desk, and make sure it was all in one place. And then, of course, enable self-service. So here we have, we knew our challenges, we knew what we wanted to achieve, but so where do we go from here? And that's where we had to start with getting not only the management buy-in, but we also needed the analysts. We needed the service desk analysts, we needed the field analysts, we needed third level analysts. We needed their buy-in in order to be successful in achieving these goals. So this is where our training comes into place. And next slide. So we had reached out to HDI and selected their Knowledge Center Support training and had the instructor come on site. And out of those 24 analysts, we trained half of them. And that included management, that included half of the service desk, half of the field, and half of third level. So we had that buy-in across the board, and those 3 days was a lot of teamwork, a lot of self-discovery on what we were doing, how we were doing it, and really understanding across the board what our challenges were. And that's where we came up with the common understanding and the language of how we wanted to put and implement KCS for all of our entire group. So we came up with a shared vision and conceived a shared theme that I'll share with you in a few minutes for KCS and how we were moving forward with that. Next slide. So as you can see here in the bottom right-hand corner, knowledge without borders, that became our theme throughout really the rest of the training class. We almost came up with that after the first day. And so everything was focused around the knowledge without borders and how KCS can do for us as a whole in meeting our challenges. And so we kind of broke it down. All of the analysts and everyone that's trained they have a license, and that bottom right-hand corner, that's what their license looks like. They can be a KCS 1, which just you use the information and you can contribute to that information for that article that is being written, or you have the different levels 2 and 3, and then you have a mentor. And a mentor or a coach, we call them a coach. Well, actually, they can help everybody create those articles. We're actually moving out of just our department and moving into our internal customers and to other areas of IT and help them write those articles. Because once the light bulb came on that said, do you mean if I write this article, then it could be resolved at the service desk versus having them call me every single time this issue occurs? And we're like, yes, absolutely. So now it's really, they're more than willing to help or create that article, and then we can tweak it and help them. That way they can focus more on other urgent issues that are going on instead of some of the day-to-day stuff that they're having to deal with. So as a result of taking the class, a lot of team building going on and just really understanding how we wanted to make this work. And this was not something that just happened overnight. I will tell you, we started out like in 2012, and we had gone through all of the training and started implementing some of the stuff, and then we had this major project come on board right about the time we were rolling this out. So we held off and made sure that we were rolling out ERP the way we needed to roll it out. And then we went live later on that year. So we've really been live now for close to 2 years, and we have seen a huge, huge improvement. If you'll go to the next slide, you will see that we increased our first contact resolution from 71% to 81%. Now, like I said, it didn't happen overnight, so this was over time, and these are the last results as of probably last week. We're right now at 81%. Our mean time to resolve, we were off the chart as far as how long it was taken to resolve simple tickets, and you know, we break it down into the different categories: critical, high, normal, and low. And across the board, really for all of IT, we have met our operational goals again for this year. Shorter call time, this is something that I measure individually for the service desk, and there it is. We have a saying here that one, search early, search often. For all the tickets, every ticket has to have a KCS article linked to that ticket, and that actually comes up in the call review that we do once a month. We'll randomly pick 5 or 6 calls and make sure that they are linking the articles. And of course, if it's not in the ticket, it didn't happen. So that way, if a customer calls back and we can already tell what they have done. Maybe that article didn't work. They had to update the article. So all that information is in the article for the analyst to update. So there's so many different avenues in making sure that, one, we're increasing the FCR, the mean time to resolve, and the shorter call time. And it's all due because having those articles and keeping those articles up to date. We can now bring a contractor or an employee on board, and they can be on the phone in less than 10 days on the phone after since we've implemented KCS. And a lot of that, they will spend probably 5 days solid reading articles on. We have a dashboard, and I'll share that with you, that just shows our top 10 types of calls that we get, the top 10 articles that we're using, and what's being used in self-service. And so that's what they focus on when they come on board, is understanding the top type of calls that we're getting. And then, of course, that knowledge is shared across the board. It's not only shared within our department, but it's also shared within IT. And some of that is what's already published in our self-service. And the self-service is something that we're not able to measure. We only can see that people have started commenting on having that ability to do that, and it's been a win-win for them. Next slide. So some of the things that we are doing just to continuously improve our process is that we do have monthly KCS Council meetings, and we have the coaches, the KCS coaches. We also have some of those that are KCS 2s and 3s that are part of this meeting, and it's really, they're holding this meeting. We're there to oversee it, but we talk about you know, just improvement on the article, maybe the guidelines. Are we missing some keywords in the articles? Is there a group of is there a certain group within IT that we need to focus on in helping them create those articles? The dashboard is something that we talk about every Friday in our operations meeting to really see where we are as it relates to the KCS processes. And then, of course, as I said earlier, we do talk about the KCS articles within the monthly call reviews. All right, next slide. So this is just to show you how we have implemented self-service. We call our self-service I Solve It, and this came up, this is part of the team that brought this up, and so you can tell on the left-hand side, it gives the top 100, these are ones that are published, whether it's for Florida or for New Mexico, but it's about, there's probably about 100 articles in self-service. And so part of the council meeting is we talk about, are there any articles ready for publish to be put into the self-service. So that's just one of our ongoing agenda items that we have with council. And then our next slide. So here is our dashboard. This just kind of talks about everything associated around what we focus on for KCS, talking about the top 5 solutions, the top 5 published solutions for self-service, and if there are articles out there that need to be updated, and what's being cited and that type of stuff. So in the long run, KCS has been a part of our life now for the past 2 years, and it has been a huge difference in how we run our business, how we run the service desk, and to have our business partners provide the positive comments that we've been getting, because they're able to quickly turn around and get that information or resolve their issue a lot quicker than what we have in the past. It's a win-win in my book, and it's a feel-good for me, for our team at that. So it is something that we are very proud of at this time. So with that, I'd like to say thank you. It's a quick story. I could go on and on, but I just kind of try to condense it of what KCS, what the training can do for any company. So I'll bring it back to you, Aurelie.
All right, thank you, Kay, for the great presentation. I'm going to go back to the slides here. All right. So now let's just open the floor for questions. If you have any questions. Well, this webinar is being recorded, and it will be shared to you, but also put on the website, so you can also refer back to it, and it's going to be accessible to the public. So you can go back, and then the slides will also be available to you. So you can refer back to that. I have a question on. I have a question. Maybe it's for Rick. So, why would someone take the KCS course as opposed to the HDI Support Center Manager?
A good question. We actually get that quite often. The Support Center Manager course is really going to look across the board of all the processes that the Support Center Manager is responsible for, as well as people skills and technology necessary to run and manage a support operation. It will introduce KCS as one of the best practices and why an organization needs to have it, but it really doesn't take and give them enough information on how. So when you think about the Support Center Manager course being 3 days of intense learning across the board of that operation, KCS might be a half-hour session in that 3 days. That's not enough to help them go back and figure out how to implement KCS or what it's really all about, which is why we go to the 1-day course for what is KCS, the KCS Foundation, or the 3-day principles course, because that's now we're talking about one very specific process, that being knowledge management.
Okay, and I have another question. Do people need to do the KCS Foundation before doing the KCS Principles?
So it is not a requirement as a prerequisite to do foundation to principles. In fact, it's not necessary because all of the content in the foundation is actually in the principles. So to make it easier on the client, there's no reason for them to take 2 courses when they can take the courses designed specifically for their needs. The foundation is for everyone in the organization who's going to be adopting KCS, who needs to understand what is KCS and why. And then the principles is for that program team that's going to be guiding the implementation and ensuring the successful implementation of KCS.
Okay, thank you. Another question, sorry. So it's for Kay. Did you do anything special for the buy-in or cultural change issues, especially in the first 3 to 6 months?
Oh, yes. Nothing really special, but it was really, taking what we had learned. Some of us had attended several of the KCS sessions at the HDI conferences, so we had a general knowledge of what this was about, and so to kind of going back to talking about our challenges, we had to come up with a way to overcome those challenges. So there were several let's just do some brainstorming, let's just talk about it, and it really was, I have to tell you, a no-brainer, because they really understood where we wanted to go with this. So the management team was on board a lot quicker than some of the analysts, only because the analysts knew they had a lot of work ahead of them. But it was really just being upfront with everyone.
Okay, I hope I answered the question. Thank you. Another question, probably for Rick. Someone wants to know where does KCS come from?
So KCS Knowledge Center Support is a methodology that was developed by the Consortium for Service Innovation. The Consortium for Service Innovation is a nonprofit organization based in the United States. It's made up of senior executives from a number of large IT organizations initially. So Microsoft, HP, EMC, Intel, all participated in the early development of KCS. Since then, it has evolved beyond IT, and we see a number of organizations that from all different sectors continuing to share their experiences to help evolve KCS. But it's actually owned by the Consortium for Service Innovation.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any more questions, so I think it must have been very clear to everyone. All right, so we are just a little bit, 10 minutes before the end, but if there are no more questions, I suggest that we just wrap up. So if you have any questions to any one of us, you can find our contact details here, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Also, if you have any questions on the portfolio and how you can use it, or on specific training that you would be interested, you can contact us at info@atipreneurs.com and also call us. So thank you, Rick, and thank you, Cay, for this great webinar. I think it was very, very useful. It's always good to hear good case studies. And thank you everyone for joining. So just before you go, there's a quick survey that would pop up. So just 3 questions. Just let us know what kind of follow-up you would want to have. And so with that, I would like to thank you again and wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.